In the credit card community, we do a lot of talking about sign-up bonuses and how to use your spend effectively to get incredible value through your points. And today I want to talk to you about the other side of points and miles, which is general spending. And that is basically the cards that you're carrying around in your wallet, the cards that you're using for your daily spending on a day-to-day basis in order to rack up points that aren't related to a sign-up bonus. And so there's not as much discussion about this. Generally, what happens is people will default to one trifecta or another. And that just simply means a group of cards in a particular ecosystem. So it's very popular for people to use the Chase trifecta. Others use the Amex trifecta. And they'll basically have one card that's for dining and for a few other categories, one that's a travel card and another that's a catch-all card. And then others of us, we have multiple cards from all different ecosystems, and we try to maximize the most that we can in every single category. Well, that's certainly where I fit. And so this year, although I do have a number of sign-up bonuses I've already received this year, and I intend to continue on and probably get 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 sign-up bonuses next year, that doesn't even come close to matching my regular spend that I have in my life for credit cards. So what do I do with all of the rest of that spending? And how do I strategize it? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to go through every single category that I can identify and which card that I use in my regular spending setup. And so hopefully it'll be helpful to you as you're trying to determine what cards you need to use. I'm also going to talk about which cards I carry, which cards I'll leave at home and leave in my desk drawer and just use on rare occasions. So if you would, hit the like and subscribe button and let's talk about it together. All right, I'm going to go through each one of these individually and very quickly because I have 25 different categories for spending. Now, what will happen with a lot of folks is they'll have a much more simplistic setup, and that's fine. They'll have just a few big categories that they spend on, and on all the rest, they'll kind of lump it together in their general spend category or their everything else category. For me, I've done that, and I'm still doing that at times with certain categories, and I'll point those out as we go. But I want to get the maximum value I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what card I use and the multiplier it has in that category, why I use it. But we're going to walk through over 25 categories today. And I've grouped these in alphabetical order. So hopefully if you want to go back through it yourself and look at your own setup, you can ask, well, which cards do I have that fit in each of these and which is the best card for me in my wallet setup? The other thing that's important to note is that some of these cards are in my wallet. In other words, these are cards I actually carry with me. Now, when I say carry with me, some of them might be in my mobile wallet on my phone, but they're cards that I use regularly when I'm out and about at places that I do a lot of spending, like dining or maybe grocery, some of the things that I use a lot, like entertainment, movie theaters, things like that. Things that I actually need the card or a digital version of the card with me. So that's my wallet, and that's one of the different 4 categories I have for the cards that I have. And each of those I'll note on the screen as we come to them. The rest would be either desk cards or in a few cases, they would be what I call backpack cards, which are cards that I use when I travel. And the desk cards are ones that I use for specific things, but it's basically things I'm ordering from home, and I don't have to have the physical card with me because whenever I make that purchase, I'll make it from my desk. So that's kind of the basic breakdown. The other thing that I want you to know as we go forward is I'm missing one card that I found out in this process is going to be absolutely crucial to my setup. And that's partly because I haven't been in this ecosystem before, and I'm about to be because my Bilt card is going to change, as it is with all Bilt card holders, and I'm going to receive a Wells Autograph card. And because of that, that'll introduce me to the world of Wells Fargo and their transferable partners, and that opens up to me their ecosystem. And I found out as I was going through that I have a bunch of categories that I'm just using a general spending card on that I could be getting a lot more value. In fact, double the value if I had the little no annual fee Wells Fargo Attune card. And so that putting that on my list, I mean, I pretty much thought I had built out the very best setup I could for maximum value, but I've realized that is a major deficiency that I'm going to fix that as fast as I can by acquiring the Wells Fargo Attune card. So I'm going to note that. There'll be a notation on the screen of each of those categories where, even though now I'm using my general spend cards, in the future, I plan at the ultimate manifestation of this setup to have the Attune card and get a lot more value in each of those categories. The first category is airfare, and there's really two subcategories to it. Now, when it comes to airfare, I use my City Prestige card. The City Prestige card has 5x on airfare bought directly with the airlines. Now, for some other people, they might use the American Express Personal Platinum. It also has 5x on airfare directly with airlines. Now, there's two subcategories to this, though. There is American Airlines flights. Now, on that one, I use my American Airlines Executive card because it gets 4x on purchases directly with American Airlines. Now, you say, yeah, but 4x is not as good as 5x. Yes, that's true, but there's a kind of a special circumstance here, and that is I value my American Airlines status, and you get loyalty points also. So, yes, I'm only getting 4x on miles that can be spent for tickets, but I also get 1 loyalty point per dollar spent. So I'll take the 4x plus 1 loyalty point over the 5x, but that only works when I'm buying tickets on American Airlines. The other thing is portal bookings. If I do book any flights through a portal, which I don't typically do because I don't get a lot extra on this, but I'll use the City Elite card because that card gives me 6x on flights booked through the portal. The next category is Amazon. Right now I'm using my Amazon card, but this is a category that's going to change because that Amazon card gives me 5x, but it's cash back. It is the only cash back in all the 25 categories that I use a card that gives me cash back. I mean, that's the only place I do that. And in the future, when I get that Attune card, I'm going to use it because Amazon with Attune, the way I understand it, codes as a bookstore, and that'll give you 4x. And I would rather have 4x transferable currencies, even with Wells Fargo having few transfer partners. I'd rather have 4x transferable than I would 5x that's just cash back. So that's Amazon. The next category is amusement parks. That's just general spending. So I use either my Blue Business Plus with American Express or the Capital One Venture X. Each of those are a 2x earning card. The next one is cruises. And for cruises, I use my City Prestige card. It gives me 3x city points. So I get 3x if we go on a cruise. Now, we haven't been on a cruise in a while, but we're thinking about some in the near future. So that'll be a good use of my City Prestige card for that category. The next category is drugstores. Now, for drugstores, we simply try to use one of our Freedom cards from Chase. There aren't a lot of categories on here where I use Chase cards, just a few, because they just don't generally have the best spending multipliers. But they do in this one, and that is drugstores. Now, our total spend at drugstores in the year is going to be very, very low because we get our prescriptions filled at Walmart, so it doesn't work there. But if we do have to go into a CVS, or if we have to go into a Walgreens or whatever it may be, we'll use our Freedom Flex or our Freedom Unlimited. They both give 3x on drugstores. However, the truth is we'd have to know that ahead of time because I don't carry those cards in my wallet. So generally, it might end up being a general spend category. But for the most part, I know I can get the 3x, even though that amount of spend is almost inconsequential in my entire setup. Now, the next category is a very big one. In fact, lots and lots, thousands of dollars are spent on this every year, and that is dining. So in the dining category, I have two cards. The first is, of course, my City Prestige card. It gives me 5x on dining. For someone else who can't get the City Prestige card, probably a great choice would be the American Express Gold card. It gives you 4x on dining, up to, I think, $50,000 a year. And then if it's a Friday or Saturday night, I use my City Elite card because that one gives me 6x on dining. So Both of them City cards, City Prestige, 5X all the time on dining. If it's Friday or Saturday night, I use the Elite card. That gives me 6X on dining. A huge category. I earn so many points every year in that category. It's insane. So that is a big, big, big one in my wallet. The next one is entertainment, and this one also has a subcategory. So on the entertainment, live entertainment category, this is one where I have the Blue Business Plus or the Venture X, just a general spend card to get 2X. But it's also one that the Attune card may work for. I've got to look into the details a little bit more. Not exactly sure on this one, but I think the Attune card might take over when I finally get that card in my setup. But then the subcategory of entertainment is through the portal. Through the portal, it's always going to be the City Elite card because that is 12X on any entertainment that you purchase through the City portal. And 12X is just out of this world good. So rather than booking something like a Viator or something like that, I'm going to try very, very best, if I can, to book it through the portal and get 12X. Same thing with plays and Broadway, stuff like that. So whenever you can, to use that travel portal to get 12X with the Elite card is just an absolutely amazing multiplier. So it's very, very good. Now, excursions are going to be very similar. Excursions through the portal are going to be with that City Elite card to get that 12X. So that one is kind of a no-brainer. Then we have gas. Now, we spend $400 to $500 a month on gas, and that goes on my City Custom Cash, my first City Custom Cash, because we have two of them. So one of those custom caches is devoted solely to gas, and it works out perfect because their cap, the $500 cap, is about what we spend every month on gasoline. So that works great. Now, in general spending, this is a lot of different stuff. I mean, some things that I get reimbursed for, some things that I purchase for our household, some things are like utilities and stuff that don't fit into any other categories where I have any multipliers. And that is general spending. And I've already mentioned that's my Blue Business Plus, the Venture X, or the Elite card. And you say, yeah, but the Elite card with City, that card doesn't give 2X like the other two. No, but it's almost a wash because 1.5X with City to me is just about as valuable as 2X with Capital One or 2X with the Blue Business Plus with membership reward points. So it can be any of those three cards on our general spending. Let me take just a moment and encourage you to consider my channel membership. I do special videos for channel members. I also early release almost all my videos for my channel members. And also we have a Discord channel. It's just $2.99 a month. You can cancel anytime that you like. And it's just a great way to support the channel, but also hopefully it brings great value to you. There'll be a link down in the description below. Also, I'm filming this on my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera, and it is a fantastic camera. It comes with a dedicated wireless microphone, does a great job. I've got that link on my Amazon shop. You can also find that link down below. And so if you purchase through that, it doesn't cost you any more. It helps support the channel, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Now for our grocery spend, our family's kind of different than some. We are about like 40% of Americans that purchase groceries at stores that don't code as grocery stores, either Walmart or Target or big box stores like Sam's Club or Costco. And we buy all of our groceries at Walmart for the most part, unless it's just running in and grabbing something when we're near a traditional grocery store. So generally, our groceries are a general spend category, and so therefore it'd be the Blue Business Plus or the Venture X or the Elite card. But when we do see a dedicated grocery store, I just use the City Strata card, and that's their no annual fee card. It goes well in my City setup because it gives 3X at grocery stores. So that works out pretty well. When it comes to gyms, I don't have a gym membership because I have a home gym, but if I ever chose to do that, it would be a general spend category. So Venture X, Blue Business Plus, Elite card. And then after that comes haircuts. Now, I do go to the barbershop every month and a half or so, and it's not expensive. And on that, it's a general spend category right now, but that's one for sure that the Attune card will double my return. So that's one that for sure I'm going to try in the future to have that Attune card to use to get 4X instead of the 2X that I'm getting now. The next category is hotels, and there's a couple subcategories to this one as well. Now, on hotels in general, unless of course I'm, using a free night cert and I've got to put in a card for incidentals or something, and usually that'll be the card that's associated with that particular hotel brand. But in general, my hotel purchases will be on my City Prestige card. It gives 3X on hotel purchases. But the two subcategories are kind of important. One is Hilton hotels. For Hilton hotels, I use my Hilton Aspire, and it's like 34X, which Hilton points are not worth even close to the amount of City points, but they do catch up when you're getting 34X instead of 3X. So I use the Hilton Aspire for that. But then when it comes to hotel bookings through a portal, oh wow, the City Elite card, 12X through the portal. And that is just an outstanding. I can't think of anywhere you're going to get a better return than 12X City thank you points, which are worth so much more than any hotel points would be worth. So those are the two subcategories when it comes to hotels. The next category is movies, movie theaters. Right now, that one just falls under general spending. But it's also one of those categories that if I had the Attune card, and when I ultimately do have that card, I'm going to double my return on those purchases. We don't go to the movies all that often, but maybe once every month or every other month. So it could be a little bit of a difference in how many points I'm getting from that. Now, when it comes to office supplies, I have the Chase Ink Cash Card, and it is the very best at this. You get 5 ultimate reward points for every dollar you spend at office supply stores. The next category is the same card. It's cell phones. You get on your cell phone bill with the Ink Cash Card, you get 5X on ultimate reward points. So I pay for my cell phone bill with my Ink Cash Card, and that gives me a fantastic return. And it's one of the only regular ways that I earn ultimate reward points, but that's a good way to earn them. The next category also has one subcategory, and that is rental cars. Now, if I rent a rental car directly from the rental car company, then I'm going to use my Chase Sapphire card, my Chase Sapphire Preferred, because it doesn't give the best multiplier, but it does give primary insurance on those rental car purchases. So that to me has some value. But if I'm not renting directly, in other words, if I'm renting through a portal, it comes down to two different cards. One is the American Airlines Executive Card. It gives 10X on Avis if you rent those cars through their portal, and 10X American Airlines points is really, really good. It also gives a credit every year of $120 for that, so that's good. But the other one is the City Elite Card because it's another one of its 12X categories through the portal. So 12X on rental cars if you book it through City, which is really an outstanding multiplier. Now on sporting goods is another one of those that I'm just using either the Blue Business Plus Venture X or Elite card, just a general spending category. But if I get the Attune card, it'll give me 4X on the sporting goods category. So that one could potentially really improve. I don't go into sporting goods stores all the time, but sometimes buy a new pair of shoes, stuff like that. So that can definitely, the Attune card can definitely elevate my earnings at that category. The next is streaming services. With the Strata card, that's the no annual fee Strata card with City, you can choose a special category to get 3X, and that's what I've chosen. So I get 3X with my Strata card on streaming categories of City thank you points. When it comes to transit, I also use the Strata card. So anytime I'm booking train tickets or going on the subway, anything like that, I use the Strata card because it has 3X thank you points on transit. And then there's travel agencies. So if I were to book something, and I don't use this a lot, but if I were to book something through something like Expedia or Travelocity, something like that, then the City Prestige card gives 5X on travel agencies. So that's kind of a neat thing. And then the last kind of category that I have in this entire list is Visa gift cards. Now, I guess it would also work for MasterCard gift cards, but generally we think of them as Visa gift cards. And these are purchased either like at grocery stores or purchased at office supply stores. So that means I have two different cards. If I haven't used our custom cash, our second one, for any kind of spend, especially getting up to the $500 range at home improvement stores that month, then I can buy a $500 Visa gift card and I'm going to get 5X on that purchase if I buy it through one of the qualifying categories, which would grocery stores would fit into that. But I also can use the ink card at office supply stores like Office Maxers or Staples, any of those, and you get 5X on that as well. So those are my two cards that get alternated between when I'm not working on sign-up bonuses or whatever that can be used for Visa gift cards. So that's my entire list. That's 25 categories with a few of them having some subcategories of all the different cards. Some of them, as I noted, are ones that I carry with me, and some of them are just desk cards. But these are the cards, and if you look at this setup overall, I think it's a pretty sound return on each of those different categories. And especially if I get that Attune card, all those little strange little categories, they're going to be elevated by double, which I'm very, very excited for in the future. Now, I may have missed something here. Maybe there's a card out there that'll give me a better return in one of these categories than what I'm getting. I would ask you to do me a favor. Let me know in the comments below, because I want to build the very best setup that I can for getting return on my regular spend day by day. Because, it adds up to a lot every year. And, we all want to maximize everything we can in this hobby. So let me know down below. Thank you for joining me today. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you here next time.